We are live. Welcome back. Welcome back, you all people, beautiful people, and viewers of the Freedom Soapbox with Ashley and Namdi. It's your host, Ashley. Oh, there's the camera over there. I look over there. It's like, where do you look? Okay, right here.
Yeah, right there.
Because I feel like my eyes are like going that way. We're out here chilling in the beautiful city of Tampa, Florida. This is Pinellas
like
Park.
Oh, is it?
This is Pinellas Park, Florida.
Okay.
We're Floridians, people. We are Floridians, relocated to the great state of Florida. And we consider ourselves free. Right, babe? What you gotta say? Say hi to the people.
Hi, people. How are you doing?
You gotta speak up so they can hear you. There's so much background noise.
Oh. Well, in case you didn't hear me, hi, people. How are you doing?
Here's a tour of
Well,
our immediate surroundings. Are you impressed? We're sitting next to a
so
freaking...
basically, the freeway is right there, but you can just pull up in this kind of like secluded little trees on the side. You would not know that the beach is right there. So in between all the trees, people just kind of pull up and sit in the water.
Yeah.
Off of the freeway.
That's something I found cool.
Very
But
unique.
compared to Florida, where we're coming from Southern California, and you have to go out to Santa Monica or Orange County, any one of the Orange County beaches, and they don't have them by the side of the freeway like this, where you can just pull up with your truck and sit with your toes dipped in the water. That's a perk of living out here in Tampa, Florida.
And it's so private. There's just like, you know, a couple people down there, maybe a couple people over there. So,
I don't think they can hear you.
there's just a couple people over there, a couple people, one guy right there in front of us.
There's guys swimming, and you have people out here swimming and having a blast on a weekday. So it's just a pretty laid-back lifestyle. We moved out to St. Petersburg for a few reasons. One of which to run away from what we consider complete and total decline of the state of California, because there's just a combination of bad leadership and overtaxation going on there, and we just don't want to be part of that anymore. One. Two, Florida also offers lower cost of living, obviously, and you still get the same lifestyle. I mean, level of socioeconomic lifestyle here for a little less.
For a little less money and no state.
So it made sense to relocate here. So we made that trip. We packed up everything, loaded it up in a trailer, shipped off what we needed to ship off, and we shipped off the cars, and then we loaded up the rest in the truck and hit the road, made the trip in a week, and we've been here, and so far I would say it's been pretty chill, yo. Like, I like this place.
Yeah, so far for the first 2.5 weeks, it's been really nice. Honestly, life feels like a vacation right now.
Yep, it feels like
It's just ordinary life.
So this is not necessarily like a big old ad for Tampa, Florida. It's just me encouraging you guys to just take advantage of the little time we have here on God's green earth and enjoy it. Take time off, relocate, go somewhere else, change your environment. And that may also be a privileged thing to say, but I think that if you really wanted to move and try something new, you can. You know, you just have to make up your mind that that's what you want. That was what we wanted, so the goal was already set, and we just moved in that direction. Anyway, let's move on to something more interesting that's going on in society today.
What is that?
Bitcoin.
Oh, duh.
Listen, Bitcoin is not just it's not a cryptocurrency. It's not just the speculative asset that people have that use, it's bigger than that. It's this thing that's gonna give us freedom. I'm a Bitcoin. I consider myself a pro Bitcoin. I'm not a maximalist because I believe in all other altcoins. Um, but what's important is that Bitcoin is going to provide a lot of us financial freedom and free from the what I'm starting to consider is we are in like a state. What is that called when they say? I can't think of the word. It's like in an emergency state or something like that, where there's increasing mistrust between people and the government, and it's also starting to feel like there's a lot of centralization and a lot of power brokers that are hell bent on keeping the masses in a subjugated state. And I just find that Bitcoin is that one thing that's liberating us. Think about the pandemic and how it was handled, from the CDC and the WHO issuing statements that for a year later is completely like they've made 180 degrees on and just like you don't know what to believe anymore. And you have these mouthpieces on the media that keep feeding information and stoking fear. Mask, no mask, vaccine, no vaccine. We're being pitted against each other. And it just feels like a grand agenda for something. I don't know what it is. But Bitcoin is that thing that's going to give us at least liberation. If you understand blockchain and the decentralization of money, yeah, right? Anyway, so what would you consider a reason why it feels like people are more and more divided in the country today?
Well, I mean, first there's the masker and mask people, or maskers and non-maskers. I mean, there's one thing. People who are divided about whether or not we should be wearing masks in public and even in our homes. Like, some people will have their guests, even if they're relatives, family members, wear a mask when they enter their house. And it's just, people are kind of divided. Oh my God.
Oh, it's just some birds, man. You scream like it was. Say hello.
Wow.
Did you remember what the name of these birds were?
I don't. These birds are crazy. Wow.
I remember I looked them up the other day. It was like it's a strange name. It's not one of those names you're like on it or something like that. But yeah, we're hanging out with a few of them. All right, back to the topic, bro.
So yeah, I mean, if you're asking like what kind of thing that social thing that's going on that can divide us, there's the mask and non-masker thing. Now it's going to be immunizations. People who want to be vaccinated, people who don't, and it's starting to actually divide us in real social interactions. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Like, have you experienced a couple? Because people do now actually ask you if you've been vaccinated.
Yeah.
If you're not out wearing, if people maybe, I think it's like they catch you not wearing a mask and they're like, hey, are you vaccinated?
The media and the government has empowered people to now to be rude and to invade people's privacy and spaces, where now total strangers can accost you in public about a mask or a vaccine, something that never used to exist before. And none of it is science-based or factual. It's just because they feel, when you give people a reason to virtue signal or move up in class or among their peers because they found a platform of righteousness, they're gonna use it. And that's what people are doing. You have, when you're in in among other people, everyone's kind of trying to separate themselves, whether it's like through what they wear or what they say or how they behave. They just want to be like step above. You know what I mean? Like separate yourself and float above the rest. So classism or virtue signaling, I find, is another way for people to do that, where they can just like, it's the same thing as saying, we're the good guys and those guys are the bad guys. We got vaccinated. Those guys didn't get vaccinated, so they're the bad guys. And then we form these little turfs.
It's based on our beliefs of whether or not we should be vaccinated. Same thing with the masks.
Which is crazy because technically, if you were to think deeper into it, there's literally no right or wrong. You know what I mean? You can't. We're all in this together. Both people who don't want to be vaccinated and people who do want to be vaccinated. We're all in this together. It shouldn't be a us versus them type of deal.
Right.
But anyway, so I find that Bitcoin gives us sovereignty, financial sovereignty, where you can be your own bank. You can buy the asset, which is the Bitcoin. It appreciates in value. You can cash flow it by collateralizing and borrowing against it and using it to reinvest in another asset. So it's a whole economy of its own once you understand it. Now, sadly, jeez, man.
Something's touched me and
She's being a little paranoid these days, but we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the freedom that it provides.
Okay. Hope nothing jumps on me.
We got into Bitcoin in 2018, and I've been like mad Bitcoin ever since because I just noticed this power that it gave me. It actually allowed me to, you just put in small money, like $250 a week, and before you know it, you've accumulated enough that you've also gotten so much return on your money. You can also, borrow against it and invest in other assets or start businesses. It's really cool. So I think that yes, the world might have politically and economically, we seem to be imploding. It's a sad and depressing thing to say, considering that I love this country. I still consider America to be one of the greatest country in the world, even today. But I feel like we're actively fighting against each other rather than all 350 million of us working together. There's a power structure that's subjugating the rest of us and trying to keep us in this place of slavery, modern day slavery. And I don't find that these ideas don't seem foreign anymore because I hear a lot of people echoing the same feelings.
Yeah.
So, which is privilege because I hear about the crazy things going on in Nigeria. So I think that it's a global phenom. We're still privileged to be able to have the conversation openly without fear of retribution, without fear of our safety, at least to some degree, right? But there are certain countries where you can't even talk openly about stuff like this. It can mean life or death.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful at where we are individually and as a whole. I hope for a future, not a utopia, because I don't think that's possible, but I hope that the moral arc of justice should continue to bend ever so slightly. The moral arc of the universe should continue to bear down towards justice. What you have to add to that?
I agree.
So, yeah, Bitcoin gives us freedom. The political climate's gotta get better. Where technology is promising us that. I think technology is that messiah that we seek. As technology advances, obviously it's a what you call that, a two, it's a gift and a curse, because just as much you can do just as much good and evil with technology. So but then it also means that that there's more good than there was evil. There was more good in the world, and I like to create and live in a reality where there's good. No matter where you are in this world, in this universe, there's an option to live in a reality of good vibes, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And the way to do that is by feeding yourself and surrounding yourself with good vibes, floating towards that. On the internet, you can find so much encouraging and uplifting messages and positive message, as much as violence. You can find violence, you can find gory,
Yeah,
you can find
that's true.
destructive stuff. So if you keep moving your compass towards goodness and good vibes and good information, that's the reality that you're going to live in. And that's we inhabit the world that we create, both by our words and by our deeds. Anyway, that's all we wanted to share for you today. We're here, and we're gonna be bringing you more info about the environment that we're in. St. Petersburg. We actually live in St. Petersburg, which is like a really cool place in Tampa. So anyway, we'll see you guys next time, and tune in and watch.